day. That means it is house tours day, and so of course we've got a few really nice homes lined up for you. Um, Before we get started, let me go ahead and put out my tweet here. Got that done. We're on a roll. And also a couple of announcements. First and foremost, there is an extended maintenance today. It's supposed to start around, I think it's 2 a.m. PDT, which is about 11 a.m. CET. So we got a couple hours before we should start seeing the notices about the realm shutting down. And it's going to last approximately 8 hours. There is a forum thread in the server status section of the forum in case you want to keep up to date on that as far as when the realms actually come back up or if they have to extend it for any reason. As some of you may know, today they're going to be giving us the update 1.5.1, I think is what it was called. It's going to bring us the Vault of Archon, which a lot of people have been really looking forward to getting. From what I understand, it's basically like Omnicore 1. It's a soloable instance that extends the story a little further for those that are interested in it. Hey Faye, hey Cross, Bucky, everybody. Glad you guys could join us. And there's also going to be the new tutorial that we've been testing on the PTR. From what I understand, that goes live today as well. And I heard, or I saw a tweet from Bardic that we should be getting a shop update as well. I don't know what all that's going to include. I know a lot of people are hoping that the aviary house is included. I imagine the new signature, what do they call it, station is going to be up and running. Probably those, well, maybe those new costume pieces, the club jackets or whatever. But fingers crossed that the aviary house is also included. I mean, I wouldn't be against some other housing stuff, but I know that's a big wish for a lot of people that have seen the data mining of the images and are really looking forward to being able to include that little house type on their plot. Especially a lot of us Orin, I think, will be drooling over that. Good morning, Bones. Glad you could join us. So yeah, just forewarning, if you're watching now and you're not playing and you're thinking about playing after, you might want to go ahead and just play because my stream will be recorded. You can watch it later, but the realms are only going to be up for a couple more hours before they're down for most of the day, for at least for us EUers. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what's causing the trouble with that. I assume it's something to do with Twitch, as far as the channel not loading or updating on itself. I think you have to do a lot of refreshing. Just like I think Poi was having issues with the chat stalling. I've experienced that a couple times, but usually just refreshing fixes it. It's annoying because it's not like it says that it's gone. You know, you have to just kind of be watching it. Hey Poi, good morning. Bucky, while you're here, have you gotten your package yet? You and Poi are the only ones that I'm waiting to hear back from as far as if you've received your prizes from our 50th anniversary giveaway. Everyone else has checked in and received their stuff, so yeah, I would really love to know if you've already gotten yours or not. Anyway, the other announcement is there is a Fade Fest 4 coming up on the 22nd of this month. Normally, I probably wouldn't announce it because I kind of generally stick to EU related stuff because that's where I'm stationed. But since I know a lot of my viewers are NA, um, uh, and Fade Fest this year is going to include a housing competition. I'm definitely wanting to promote that. So for those of you on NA side, or those of you that are on EU side that happen to have access to NA, you might consider slating your calendar for the 22nd of May for Fade Fest 4. They have this every year, and it's just a, I don't know, a big bag of different events. They have PvP stuff, trivia games, random giveaways. I think Katia and last year did a wild ball tournament kind of thing. I think this year it's going to be the showcasing of her new putt golf uh, add-on and how it works, the little game for that. Um, and this year with the housing competition, they're doing it a speed build. They're going to give you a theme, and you have so many minutes to produce an item out of thin air, either on your plot or on the host's plot as a roommate. And I guess I don't know the whole specifics on that. I think it's still being worked out, but definitely sounds interesting. I think it's kind of like our CBDC, but it's more like time limited. So you really have to think on your feet because you don't get the theme until the actual competition starts. So yeah, it's something, even if you don't want to participate in any of the events or you're not contributing to helping host one or giving out donations, I think it's a real big thing to at least attend and be supportive of these kind of community events. They are a big, I don't want to say headache or hassle, but it's kind of that way. I mean, it's a lot of commitment in trying to pull something like this together, and to be able to coordinate with so many groups and individuals to bring this together for a community as big as entity side. It's astounding that they've managed to pull it off every year successfully, and it's always bigger and better every time. And I may even be tempted to kind of get over there and check it out, even if I don't actually participate. It would be fun to see how something like that works. I would love if something like that came about on Jabbit, but it's our community's a little bit smaller than theirs, and it just requires a lot of people willing to be motivated and coordinated enough to pull it off, but maybe sometime. Um, so yeah, glad to hear the package arrived, Bucky. Thank you for letting me know. So it's just Poi that we're waiting on. Poor Poi, all the way in Australia. So hopefully that arrives before the end of the week. Fingers crossed that it's gonna get there soon. Um, yeah, I don't know what that is, Ducky, about the reloading and the commercials and stuff. And yeah, sorry, I get you guys confused. Even I'm with me saying this. I'd be talking to my husband. Yeah, Bucky said. No, wait, Ducky said that. So yeah, no, no worries, Poi. I know it's probably going to be a little bit longer for you, but fingers crossed that it's the last one to hear from. So we're all rooting for you on getting it. Okay, so I think that's it for the little bit of announcements. Just again, the maintenance is going to be hitting in a couple hours, and it's going to last pretty much all day for us EUers. And then, of course, the Fade Fest coming on the 22nd of May, especially for those of you that want to give that speed build event a try. I really would like to see how you guys handle the pressure. It also reminds me that we did announce the CBDC theme for this month. It's games, and we already have a couple of people showing off some of the things they've done. We had one that they just mentioned that they'd already built a foosball table. I just retweeted it. they didn't say where it was or anything, so I have no idea where to look it up. But Poi also tweeted out this morning their gigantic chessboard. So I assume, is that on Rosie's plot? Because if it is, then I'll be sure and note that down, and that way we can tour it at the end of the month. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things. You give a challenge to some. Some are going to do it immediately because inspiration will hit. They can think of an idea, and others may take a little longer. That's why, having the full, well, more or less the full month to kind of give room for those that need a little bit more planning or need to collect some of the items or raise money for the purchases. They have a lot of time to work with that. And I know not everybody's schedule is as loose as mine, so for those of you that maybe perhaps can only get in the game on the weekends or something, or just for like half an hour a day or something, then you still have plenty of time to kind of put something together. But I was really happy with the turnout for the last challenge, and I'm hoping that we'll see even more this time around. All right, boy, I'll note that down then. Rosie NA. Okay. In fact, let me just do that now because I know I'm going to forget to. Boy, Rosie NA. Was it chessboard? There we go. It is noted. Okay, so today, Exiles side, housing tours. I'm sure Ducky already knows where we are, but this is a plot called The Arctic Foxhole. It's on the character Gamble Foxtail, but it is one of Ducky's alts. And it's a really great plot to visit if you haven't really seen a lot of the Arctera decor and aren't sure what all is available and how one might use them to kind of put things together. Some of the items are those that are drops from the Arctera zone. Some of them are items that you get from the vendors there, and others are straight from the housing vendor, like these ice rock blocks. So yeah, let's just have a look around. So you can see how Ducky chose to cover up the entrance with this nice little igloo-ish kind of cap. One of the things that I think Ducky realized right from the start was using these ice rock blocks as building materials for your structures eats up your decor count really quick. In fact, I think that was why Ducky chose to top this one with a single clump of snow, because it just became so intensive with decor count. You'll see why as we get through the plot a little more. But I love the designs and how the entrance look. It almost reminds me of some of the things I've seen in World of Warcraft for whatever reason. But I like, like just the paying attention to turning this a little bit to give that diamond shape rather than just leaving it, the other way straight. That adds just that little extra decoration. The only downside, and you'll see that a little bit better elsewhere, is at a certain distance. Well, it doesn't seem to be doing that now. But at a certain distance, the blocks disappear. And it kind of becomes a little annoying when that happens. But you can see like some of the little, yes, that's the snowy version of the Orin. I'm not sure. And of course the little Parker wrapped lops, and probably my favorite thing is they're not noisy like the others, the dancing, bouncing ones. They wiggle quite a bit, but they're not very loud at all, so that's a plus for me. And of course the Kurg NPC little pack mount looks just like the ones you see in like the Celestion area, all the little escort quests and stuff. But look at this massive little landscape here. Uh, as far as I know, Ducky utilized not only the Arctera decor and stuff, but you can see the hills. The Protostar Insta hills have also been utilized here. Really brings this to life, and it looks like just a chunk of Arctera that's been ripped up and put into the sky here. Wow, Ducky, 700 pieces for this entrance, folks. That's just unreal. You shaved it down to 450 by using the snow clump. Yeah, I remember you talking about how it was just so item intensive, but you know, I almost wish they could have given us like some curved walls with this already built in like that. But I don't know if that would be kind of um, asking a little too much. You know, having like little sections of the blocks already built in, if that makes sense. Morning, Zodi. Glad you could join us. So this is a great place to come and look and see how the different Arctera decor look after they've been placed. I mean, you can see there's like a little bit of a transparency and everything. I think all of these bones have been placed by Ducky. You know, we got plenty of bones from drops and things. Really nice use of the NPCs. I was going to say, do they move at all? But yeah, they're moving. But it just feels like part of the open world. I don't even want to try and name all of the different pieces. I mean, there's like glacial arches and like little wave-looking bits, spiky things. That's not the technical names, but yeah. Just even the little snow-covered ferns and flowers, those all are drops you can get. Look at that one, he's shaking the dirt off. Notice not all the trees are the snow-covered ones, so you can get away with using ones that aren't snow-covered and others that look a little frostier. These have got and then, of course, you have the fab kit. I don't remember the name of this fab kit here, Ducky. Do you know it offhand? It's got a challenge to like do a snowball fight or something with the NPCs or whatever. I'm not sure. Little snow fort. Well, hello. We have a CRB in our midst. Glad you could join us. It's a rare occasion that we have an actual dev drop by. It's happened in the past, but it's very uncommon. No Man's Land, thank you. I couldn't remember what it was called, but it's a very cute, and it fits in really nice with the way you've built up the rest of the bits. I like how they've added little snow clumps here and stuff too. I would like to get some of these. It'd be good for snow-covered bushes and things. I'm afraid to step out onto it because I don't want to activate the challenge, but look, you can see where they've been like throwing the snowballs and it's landed on the thing. But this would be a fun addition to somebody that has a winter plot and just needs something to fill in and they can't build it themselves or don't want to. These wintry fab kits are really good. I like how the ground also kind of behaves just like the skating one. The little ice pond where you can kind of slip and slide on it. Here's a little camp. I like how they've got the ice blocks put in the back to kind of, I don't know, keep the wind from whirling through. Well, Mr. CRB, we do that quite a bit. A lot of folks have done that. In fact, there's a sticky thread with all of our wish lists, and that includes a lot of screenshots, mock-ups, and things. Yeah, I didn't actually start it myself. I took it over from another individual, and I can't think of their name offhand, but yeah, it's been there for ages. It's just so massive. I think it's intimidating for those that want to go through it because it's literally thousands of comments, pages and pages of wishes from people, from fab kits to skies to door treatments to special functions. I can't even begin to list. I mean, it's a mile long. Yeah, sorry, Zodi. Here, let me pull that link up. That way, it's there. And I'm sure the devs are aware of it, but like I said, it's so massive now. It's just kind of one of those things that I think people skip over. They just think it's a bunch of hooey. I've tried to kind of consolidate most of it and keep it kind of general because basically whatever we have, we want more of. Or if we have it in like one kind of theme, we want it in other themes as well. You know, so if it's Chua related, then we obviously want it in all the other races and stuff. Main thing I would kill for is more storage space. That's what I would kill for. So you can see Ducky just laid in a really nice amount of all of this icy decor to put in this lovely landscape. It's really interesting. There's not a lot of repetition. Good placement of the NPCs to make it feel like just like the zone itself. And these little forest clumps, I love those too. They're a good size. They're not overly done. It just feels like the same scale as the Outworld. Just like this too. This is that Pumera fab kit, and it just blends in really nice because of the way, I mean, even though it's a little bit sandy, due to the coloring of the lighting and where it is, it blends in really, really nicely. What sky choice did you use, Ducky? Do you remember? Well, not just cone shapes, Bucky. Lots of shapes. I'd like some flat discs, you know, like the domes, but without the domey part. You know, just the flat discs would be really nice. You can see how they integrated the hot springs with this little addition of these snowy walls to give it a little bit of privacy, not a whole lot, and then added in these little resting spots here. I love the use of the mats. We get so many of these mats, and it's nice to see all of these little extra bits here. Good place to come and warm up after spending all that time in the wintry stuff. There's that new spade being used as a shovel. I didn't know you could actually use that as a seat. That's pretty funny. A little messy lot pile. It shows you how often I use that decor. I think any kind of water, even if it's kind of not like the actual water that we have in the open world that you can't swim in it. I think the issue with the rivers and the waterfalls and stuff that a lot of people have is they're so paper thin, so that when you, like, say you build a deep lake or something and using the winding rivers, once you go below that line, it's like there's nothing there. There's ways of kind of fixing that a little bit, but it's still kind of, but yeah, I think a lot of people would love to have like some still water, so it doesn't come with that sound effect of the rushing river, because it a lot of people have been using like the waterfalls for faucet water, and it just kind of throws it off a little bit. Yeah, exactly, Poi. Something that's a little calmer, doesn't come with that big rushing sound, and not just in, you know, one shape though. Like the winding river is great, but for those that want a straight kind of look, they can only use like a portion of it. So different shapes, always with the building blocks, different shapes is awesome. So here's how Ducky covered the hatch house. Built up a little, like a little mini tower, very close to resembling the little ones over here on the fab kit. And like a fancy igloo. I like how it kind of mimics the entrance using the same similar setup. Notice this one they kept the ones not with the diamond shape, they kept it with the square instead. Just think of how many blocks this took. This is just nuts. And then inside is the underground inn. I guess it's an inn, tavern, motel, hotel, something like that. So you have this little check-in counter here. How many blocks are in the bottom? So you got the little check-in. Notice they're using the new tribal mats again, the flat ones. And everything in here is ice. It's supposed to be like one of those ice motels where you go in and everything is made of ice. So even the beds. I love how they've managed to fit in these little insets here. Looks really nice. I just wonder how these little fires inside this cold structure would work. I like the combination of the flat tribal mats and the roll ones to make it look like it's like a little curtain dividers, just kind of rolled up temporarily so that they can shut it when they're ready for sleeping time. Here's another room. Again, lovely with the arches and getting these to do the same. Well, yeah, we're going to be looking forward to it for sure. Anything new with housing, it's great. Somebody screen you that and make sure it gets posted somewhere, so we have proof. It's not letting me do it. Crazy thing. Okay, let's see. And then the last room is here. That's the bedrooms. It's all pretty similar. When you go into this one over here, though, this changes a little bit. You got a nice hallway, and then like a glimpse. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a little habitat that just happens to be attached to this, or if it's supposed to be like a glimpse of outside. It kind of reminds me of both. It would probably work either way depending on how you want to do it. But I love how, again, they've tied it into kind of what it looks like outside with the downstairs. So it looks like a little cave. You know, maybe they discovered this cave and just kind of sectioned off part of it for their little venture here and left the animal there as well. But see, this looks like a window outside. That's what it reminds me of. Yeah, exactly, Zodi, the chat replay. I forget about that because this is a relatively new thing. But it's a really nice concept. Again, it just looks like a glimpse of the outdoors. But see, like the fireplace, I gotta wonder, does that like, is this made with special stuff so it doesn't melt? But this is like the little meeting hall for guests where they can come, relax, get a drink. So you have sandwiches and drinks that you can get. I like this little cloche for the cupcake there. Just a dome, another dome, and then the glass, the curved glass with the Merc dynamite for the topper. So yeah, you know, it's just a couple of pieces, the ice rock blocks, and arches and cornerstones, but wow, just an idea of what you can do with it. And, it doesn't have to be um, an igloo, which I imagined a lot of people would build once those come available, but there's a lot of other things you can do with them too. Like the thing that we showed on Monday, uh, the little demo thing I did with the link, and you saw that I used them as bed sheets, so it's possible to use it for different things. Oh, so it's like a mini zoo. Well, the renters have to have some entertainment. Okay, so the next house up for preview is a Spin to Winds plot. I've got it marked down as Village. I don't think that's the name of it. Yeah, I couldn't even begin. Let's see, what is that? Krita Spine Oprama? I don't know what that means, if it means anything. I happened across this a few weeks ago, randomly house hopping, as I often do. And at first I couldn't figure out if I could even get out of this little cave that has been built here. And you can see they've nicely blocked it in with all of the obsidian stones, but I did manage, and I'm going to try and get up there again. Not the easiest thing. Like the first jump is the hardest for me. So I can only assume that they intended it this way and that I didn't just find a way to kind of crack into where they were trying to keep it hidden. But if you can make it through the entrance, you'll come out onto this nice little town/village thing going on. And I really loved a lot of the construction of the home, so I desperately wanted to make sure this was included in one of our tours. So again, the entrance is just boxed in with all of these obsidian stones. And it's a little on the big side. I mean, look at the doorway here. It's huge compared to my little carrot there, but hey, Kim. Glad you could join us. I don't know if I can make it possible. I don't really do commissions per se, but if you're really desperate for something, I'm sure we can work something out. Just message me on the forums about it. But yeah. Anyway, so our first little building, you can see it's a combination of 2x4s. You got the, looks like the Draken walls being used as part of the flooring here, like the little bit of the trim. Usually a lot of houses have like a base, a foundation, and that's what they're using for this one. Then you have, it's kind of hard to, the building's so tall I can't get my camera to really show it too well, but that's part of the decking pieces, and then it's trimmed with Draken pillars there. So I'm guessing this is like the forge where they come and make weaponry and stuff. That's what I imagine this is. It doesn't look like it's necessarily for cooking, or maybe it's just a giant fireplace. I don't know. I like how they're using the shelves as bedding. It's a nice little way of making like a really kind of like a little different type of a cot than the usual ones that we actually have. Most of the exterior bits are just like here's a little practice area. Over here, I think there's a cave bit. It's been a while since I looked at this, so I'm not exactly sure. They really loved the obsidian stones, though. Maybe I'm supposed to go through the, oh wait, is that it? Yeah, I think this is like the indicator here. They're using I think it's one of the the dark keyhole windows. They're using it kind of like arrows. Like just going in circles. I'll get us there. Here we go. So then you got this little river, and this is inside that little block of like a little mountain thing, and you come into this little building here. Just the Exile wall as the roof, with a little bit of the decking pieces to kind of trim it. Let's see if I can open the door safely. Look at all of the pillars here for these walls here. There's a lot of pillars, a lot of pieces. Just a quaint little cabin. Doesn't even have a bed. Come out here, maybe fish a little bit, and have a little bit of some private time, some quiet. See if I can get back out here. Yeah, I guess so. I'm just so used to building to my scale, Bones, that well, Kim, we can. I've given paintings to NA players before. It'll require you using the Katia add-on. If I can keep my paintings or whatever within a certain limit, they're really easy to just send you the code, that kind of thing. So, like I said, just message me on the forum if there's something in specific that you're looking for. So here we have the main bigger building. I'm going to see if I can get a whole shot of this. I don't know what this means. You guys can even see it because it's kind of dark right now. Matojo? I don't know if it's meaningful. Does anybody recognize what that is? I have no idea. Matojo, maybe it's the name of a club or the camp. Maybe this is a camp or something, a training camp. I have no idea. I think this is one of the new stairs. And then of course the I think it's the Merg banner for the entrance there. I can't quite tell what they're using for that decoration up above. Really hard to see because again the scale is so big. It looks like either bowls or something else being used as a little design, but it's interesting that they would mark it. Go ahead and mark it. But most of the construction again is 2x4s. The foundation is the Draken fences again, and pillars for some of the roof. And then here's like a little meeting hall. They've got the dining table stocked full of delicious goodness. Pillars, the Draken pillars. Lots of the rugs, you know, because with Draken you gotta have that rustic bit. But look at the throne thing. It's like the Game of Thrones with the swords being used. We've seen several of these in the past. I've seen some screenshots and video footage of a couple of others that have attempted these, and they really like just use hundreds of, but this is a nice simple version. It's just a combination of the broadsword, the Draken sword, that kind of thing, straight off the vendor, and then using the Draken bench as the seat. It's a really nice, nifty little bit. Was it tiny Tua cups? That probably fits. For that little design up there. wonder what's, yeah, I guess it would be that little bit on the end, on the edge there, because it's got like those little metal bits on there. Yeah, it does kind of look like that, Bucky, like a Viking drinking hall. And of course, it has a bit of an upstairs. The stairs are a little squinchy up against the wall, but using the empty weapon racks as kind of a railing, it looks like. Maybe if you get lucky and have a bunch of those, that's a good way. But look at how they've done the ceiling and the supports. Really nice. Plunk. In the back here is a little, I guess this is like like a sauna kind of thing where they, or maybe it's just somebody's little bedroom here. The head honcho that runs it or something is his bed and his little fireplace. It's one way to use those burning tracks as well. I've got a bunch of those and I have no idea what I'm going to use them for, and this is a good idea to utilize that long strip. One way to get past using the campfire, because I think the campfire actually works as a lighting source. I'm not sure about the burning track though. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I'm not a real big Mad Max fan, so. Okay, onward to the next little bit. Let's see, we went to the little house, the cave there. I think there's another little bit over here. If I can remember how to get in. That's the trick. Because you can't go through this. This is that obsidian, I call it the donut, but it's not really donut shaped. So you can see there's something there. There's like a bridge and everything, and I just got to remember how I got to it. Guess it's here. Here's like the lake. See how the water just is destroyed when your camera goes down below the water. It looks all nice and nifty until you. That's just access to the water. Where's the other one? I need to make notes when I visit these places so I remember how to get to them. Let's go around the other side, I guess. Come on. I hate these jumping things. It's probably not the way to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. How do I get up there? Oof, that was close. See, I'm probably supposed to go this way somewhere, but I just totally forked that up. Don't do like me. Anyway, here's another little a little house kind of structure. Again, it's using the Draken pillars, the decking pieces. I love those things. It's really good. The only thing is, if you don't want those gaps, you have to double up on it and just kind of slide the underneath one just a little bit to kind of fill in those gaps. But a lot of people don't even bother. I did that with my bakery because it annoyed me, but here's again, using as the fireplace with the burning tracks. And they got the little bed up here. Why they have the lightning striking there, I'm not sure, but pretty weird. They have the spark coming down. Notice they're using the Draken walls. You know, so many people use those for dirt, but they're using it as wallpaper for the interior. So they've actually solidified these by backing it with the walls as well. So many of us kind of forget to make the interior wall different than the exterior, but this one didn't. So that's kind of a nice touch. Again, metal edge 2x4s. Actually it looks like staircase landings for part of it, and then back to the Draken fences for the foundation. I'm not sure what this is exactly. I guess it's just the part of that fencing there. They just doubled it up and kind of made it look like it's part of the railing for the bridge. Let's see, is this the way I was supposed to come up this thing? So high. Maybe I come up at it the right way, I don't know. Notice the roof for this back part, which was the little room in the back, is books. We've seen that on several things. Maddie's showed us a lot of those, so. And they're using the same idea here. Draken fencing for a lot of the foundation and the walls, and then the books for the roofs. 2x4s for the walls. Draken pillars for the trim. Look at the little blocks, the metal edge blocks for the stairs. Interesting way of kind of breaking it up so that you can add a little window here. Come on, I don't think I can. There we go. The only trouble with fires and fireplaces, you've got that smoke coming up and it goes straight through where you might not want it. Some people find clever ways of kind of doing that a little better, but yeah, I think that's the only NAers that probably come in. It's either those that are having trouble sleeping. I know I had some in the beginning that would listen to me to help them go to sleep. I was like, gee, thanks. Am I that boring? Because I put them to sleep, but hey, whatever floats your boat. Here's another little hut house. Similar construction as the other one. Ugh. And that's like just the most awkward leap here. Can't get it to go and stay. Anyway, I'm trying to show the bed. I like the little bed. It's 2x4s, and it's just like, I don't know, there's probably a special word for that. Not exactly a futon thing, but it's like, it's just the bed frame, can't think of the word. But I like how it's just kind of there, and you could use that as a wall divider, a door. It could be a nice window, shutters for a window. Break it in half and do it like that. I like the little cabinet here. The travel posters for the top, and just 2x4s. And then they didn't even like have to indicate where the divider of the doors are, and they just got that one little handle there. Bottle top. Fun little thing. Box spring, that's the word. I knew it had some kind of special term, I just couldn't think of it. That's why it's so nice to have you guys watching with me and helping to guide me when I forget. Strange place for a headstone. I don't know how they would have buried somebody in the rock, but maybe it's just a memorial type of thing. But it's a good view of the plot itself. You can see the one up on the hill, the little cavey area where the other one is hidden, the big hall, the two little, I don't know, cottages in the back, and then I want to say it's the armory type thing there. And then the last thing we have is this little garden hut thingy. I like the little garden. It's just an arrangement of different like corralling and the makeshift fences, and then just a variety of plants, and of course the honorary scarecrow there. But the little hut I really love. Look at all the 2x4s used for that ceiling there. There's a pillar right in the middle, and then they've just coated it with grass. So it kind of has that like old world. We have a lot of homes here even that have the thatched roofing, but this one looks more to me like it's covered with moss. And again, using the Draken fencing, the curved fencing for that. Then if you go inside, like a little storage for their feed, their hay, wood. It's like a giant pantry, kind of what it is. Got like dried meats here and stuff like that. Look at all those 2x4s. Nuts. And you know that had to have, jacked up their count quite a bit. Now, I know there should be like either they've built this over the hatch house and I just didn't find the entrance, or it's built up over the rubble, as if they didn't buy a house. I've seen a lot of homes like that, and I honestly don't know which it is. I suspect it's the one because they've raised it up on a foundation to kind of cover that, but I really don't know. I didn't see any extra like little tricky door or anything. I don't know if I'm missing something. Maybe there's a special spot to stand in and I just haven't seen it. Sometimes you can like cover up the entrance and then just kind of have it where it's just a little bit showing, but I don't see anything like that. So unfortunately I can't get you in there, if there is even one to get into. So it will forever be a mystery. Hey Frank. And good luck with the meeting phones. Yeah, see, some people, they're even watching from work, which I always find funny. Okay, so that's Spin to Win's, whatever that plot title is. We're going to call it The Village. Spin to Win's Village. Next one is a plot that I've been meaning to visit for some time now. It's been on my list forever. And I only just realized a few days ago that I've been spelling the name wrong, and that's why I haven't been able